I sometimes work with people that the minute they start a business, they want to outsource a bunch of the stuff, especially the marketing.
Well, first of all, yes. And there's a couple reasons. First of all, most people start a business to buy a Lamborghini or a beach house.
Right.
So they're already dead on arrival because they're not doing it for the game, they're doing it for the money. And so the reason they get out of the dirt is because they don't like the dirt, they don't respect the dirt, they don't appreciate the dirt. They're trying to get to the penthouse. And in fact, a lot of people try to not be in the dirt ever. They think somehow miraculously, like it's very funny out there. And that happens in everything. There's parents that are like that. They never really wanted to parent. There's coaches that think they're gonna hire 2 assistant coaches and they're gonna do everything and they're gonna walk around and say they're the coach of the baseball team. Like, all things come in all shapes and sizes. There's people that think they'll be in great shape without eating right and going to the gym. Like, okay, like, knock yourself out. It's not gonna work out. Like, so, yeah, I mean, I think, and marketing, to your point, they wanna outsource because a lot of people don't know how to do it. Marketing is hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's a dirty secret that people don't wanna admit. Like, this shit's hard. I'm not sure I've ever not gone against the grain. And I'm not kidding. You know, like, yeah, and I think this is where the weird thing is. I have not gone with the grain because the grain is not by definition entrepreneurial. It tends not to be consumer centric. It's definitely never of the moment. It's always grounded in yesterday. I was at a big marketing conference in Miami last week, and I said, this was for the Fortune 500 companies, so the BMWs, the Coca-Colas, right, the biggest brands in the world, the Nissans. And I said, the thing with big brand marketing that's crazy to me is you're romantic about yesterday. They're all still trying to do television commercials. You're infatuated with tomorrow.
Okay,
like,
hold on. We got,
right?
Hold on. It's some, holy cow, you would think I was a newbie. That was my phone ringing. And I've never had the ringer on. Gary, I am so sorry.
Please do not edit that out.
Please let me, please. I thought it was you, Gary. I was like, dude, turn your phone off. Oh my gosh.
So anyway, the industry's infatuated with it, romantic about yesterday. They love to do television commercials and all this crazy stuff. They're obsessed with tomorrow. They're thinking about building stores in the metaverse and AI, and we suck at today. This is what I was saying to the industry, and I would say that everything, I mean, when my father told his liquor store contemporaries, other guys he grew up with in the liquor store game in New Jersey, that I was building a website for him, multiple guys that he grew up with asked him not to do it because I was gonna put him out of business. When I started Wine Library TV in 2006, my father and my best friend Brandon and my cousin Bobby thought I'd lost my mind, and I'm not kidding. Like, genuinely. They thought it was weird. They weren't sure what I was doing. I don't know, like, again, Amy, because we've known each other a long time, and actually I think you can really put a pin in this. I think a lot of people back then with Crush It and all this other stuff, I was saying this stuff in 2008, right? Because the book came out in 2009. People thought I was crazy when I said that people were gonna be able to make $100,000 a year talking about things they liked. I mean, I'll be honest with you ladies, I don't ever think I am conformed to the norms. It's why I got D's and F's my whole life, right? Like, I knew school wasn't practical, it wasn't right for me. And I'm so obsessed with the end consumer that I think I'm with the consumer at scale in a way that most people aren't. Thus, it seems what I'm doing is crazy. Here's a big one. This one's gonna land with you two. Remember when I started filming myself 24 hours a day?
Yes. Yes.
When I started doing Daily B and doing D-Rock and all that, a lot of people had a lot of things to say behind my back. Who does he think he is? This is so ridiculous. Charlatan, and now it's the norm. It's, for so many, like, so, it's the story of my life.
Okay, so question for you then. A lot of people are listening and they do not have the kind of courage or confidence you have to go against the grain. So it's part of who you are. I think you came out of the womb going against the grain. But a lot of people listening, and Gary, our audience, they're making $100,000 in their business and they want to make $1 million. But they are so afraid to do something different, so they continue to do what everyone else is doing. What would you say to them? How do you give them that advice to go against the grain?
Against the grain is actually the practical thing to do. What I say to them is, I know a lot of people that have gone from 100,000 to zero because they didn't want to stop doing Google AdWords or email marketing or pamphlets or courses, or like, what I would say to them is, if you don't put yourself out of business, someone else is going to do it for you.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Right? And just because I want to make sure everyone understood what I was saying there, when I say put yourself out of business, it means you need to try to do different things that might not work. You're not going to put yourself out of business, but what I mean by that is you need to innovate new things for you, because if you don't, someone else is going to do it and then you're going to be out. And look at search. We're literally living in the pre-dawn of AI. The Meta AI, the Chat GPT, do you know how many people run their entire business by Google AdWords? What if people stopped going to Google to search?
Right.
That's like all the people that lived on yellow pages when I was doing websites, and I said, you're gonna lose, you need to have a website, and search engines are coming. But now, people make fun of all those people. Like when I would do talks and everyone, like the yellow pages people, they would all laugh, but now they've become the yellow pages people. They're one-dimensional Google search. I think the reason, for example, there still is a Garyvee brand is because I want to be in the dirt. I mean, what does the dirt look like? I assume this is audio, but is there going to be a video component to it? Good.
Yeah.
Let me show you something. This is just real life. You don't even have to go very far, right? Like the dirt looks like this. I'm just got to pull it up. When I post social media content, right? When I post it, I'm writing the copy to my team of the post, right? Like I'm literally writing,
right. That's right.
Like I am like literally writing the copy, right? Like it is.
Yes.
I don't know what else to tell you. Like I'm reading. I mean, literally, here's the post that all of you do. Obviously this will come out, but here's the post, and there's the copy to the post. I'm the copywriter for my social media posts. I'm giving feedback on it. I'm also reading the comments. I'm DMing people. In the book, I talk about this role called the PCS, the Post Creative Strategist. This is the person that reads all the comments after you post something for a brand. I do that. I'm a PCS. I strategize the first second of the creative. I talk to the team. I to your point, it's happening right now in the meta. I'm at a point in my career, thank God, where this book will sell very well if I did no podcasts and no content. It will. But I want to do it for two reasons. Very frankly, I'm so flattered that I know this is like a nice thing for you two. Like, I don't know how to not continue to do that. I want to give back to the game that built me. And number two, there are many people that are going to listen to this that are really hearing me in detail for the first time, or might not even have a great perception of me, but love you two, and are like, wait a minute, I never got past the loud or the curse, and like there is more depth. Like, so I never have a part of me that isn't interested in leaning into humility at all costs. And another way to say the dirt is having the humility to keep doing the core principles that allow you to have the pulse of the consumer.
Okay, so let me be a devil's advocate. So many business teachers and mentors will say, you have to leverage so much in your business. You can't be doing it all. You can't be in the comments. You can't be writing the copy. You hire someone, so you're never going to scale if you try to do it all. But I feel like you're so different than that. So what would you say to that?
That both work. I have 43 full-time employees on my personal brand.
Really? 43
That's
employees
right.
on your personal
Maybe it's like
brand.
29 now. We're sending a lot of them into VaynerMedia. A lot of them I train on my team, and then but I believe in both. I didn't make all these videos. My team post-produce it. Dustin's filming me right now. There he is. There he is. Hey, Dustin. So I think both are true. I think that, first you have to be able to afford a team. I did all my own stuff for the first 7 years.
Yes.
Then once you can afford a team, this goes back to what Sahil captured from our drinks, like, cool, but you're also allowed to be in the dirt with your team. Just because you, like, think of it as like farming. So at first you have a little farm and you're the farmer. And then like things get going and your corn is selling. And then you have enough money to hire someone and they're in the field with you. But you should be in the field with them. Doing what you love and also having the capacity to be comfortable with discomfort and being patient in eating shit is a very interesting enigma. And I appreciate the way you asked the question because it's gonna allow me to double click into it. The reason VaynerMedia and VaynerX, the holding co, is me doing what I love, it's because I'm willing to eat the crow in building this infrastructure to be the foundation of all my other future behavior. So is VaynerMedia my full nirvana moment? It is not. But I like it. I love operating. It sounds like you'll resonate with this. When you're a real purebred entrepreneur, you're happy selling anything.
Yeah, it's fun.
Like I'll sell sneakers.
It's my favorite thing to do.
That's right. You know, and so like, okay, like, but I also have the capacity to be strategic, make less money, be uncomfortable. Like I worked in my dad's liquor store until I was 34 years old. I need every kid to hear this. I worked in my father's liquor store until I was 34 years old. So I had patience. That was, in one side, the reason I did it was I was so thankful and grateful to my parents for bringing me to America and changing the course of my life. And I love them and we're very close in age. My parents were 22 and 20 when they had me. So we're like borderline friends and like it's the best. And I believed that I was gonna be a great entrepreneur and I somehow had the wisdom at 22 years old to say, you know what? I'm gonna go in here and build something huge for my parents and then I'll have time to bounce out and go do it for myself. That was the greatest decision I ever made, but fuck, it was hard.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like working in like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, a lot of people end up resenting their parents if they push them towards anything that's in the family business. But you were grateful, right?
No, my parents, honestly, they were agnostic. Like it was weird. By the time I was 16, it was pretty clear to both my parents that I was good. But they didn't go like the reason I love my parents is they didn't go weirdo on me and try to turn me into like a slave, right? It kind of just was. We were all just kind of moving, you know? It was very immigrant.
Yeah.
We're just like, you know, you're doing what you have to do. And I walked into it. Like I was like, I'm gonna come and like wreck house. And literally took, you know, Shoppers Discount Liquors and built Wine Library, one of the biggest wine retailers in the country. And everybody from Watchung went to Wine Library. It was awesome. And you know, it was really a great chapter, but fuck, I'd be lying to everyone if I didn't say, like, I'm unstoppable with judgment, but I promise you 5 years after college at 27, when I'm working the floor, helping people select wine during Christmas, and some of my buddies that I grew up with now are in Wall Street and driving into our parking lot in their BMW and they're buying a case of Dom Perignon and I'm carrying it out to their car and putting it into their trunk and I see the way they're looking at me like, man, and I know I'm gonna fucking be bigger than everyone. Holding your breath is fucking hard and I'm fucking unstoppable. So if it even registered to me, the normal person with their relationship with judgment, fuck, that was hard.
Yeah.
And the bigger thing that was hard was my dad was not paying me that much money and I was building a huge company. And then I started forming, I think calling it resentment would be too much, but I started having feelings. Like the business went from 4 million to 60 million and I'm still making 80,000 a year. You know, if I would have been better off going anywhere, I would have been making millions. So, you know, I think, but again, I was making my own bed. The reason it was cool was I knew I chose to do it. Just like I chose to leave and start VaynerMedia.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been pretty consistent on this, like long before I think we've gotten more thoughtful about the mental health aspect. Like I will never, to the day I die, understand why anyone would choose anything over being happy. I think people think money will cover up the scars and make you happy. I believe that people that don't have money believe that money is happiness, and that if they buy a BMW or get an attractive husband or wife, or have 3 homes, or have a 7-carat ring, or a private chef, that will unlock the happiness. I've lived a life where I came from the dirt, and now live a life where I see all the tippy top 1%, and I can promise you, and one day you'll find out if you don't believe me, that money does not buy happiness. It creates convenience. It creates opportunity to do things, but I'm talking about happiness. So what is my recommendation? Fuck around and find out. That's my recommendation. If you do not believe me, or the other people that spit it, who've lived it, the reason people burn out is because they choose money, not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship without the money is the game. You and I weren't picking money when we were selling candy in school. We're just like living our life. It's somebody
inventing.
Yeah, people were gravitating towards trumpet. People were gravitating towards Spanish class. People were gravitating, I didn't read a business book in 2nd grade and open up a lemonade stand. My mom didn't tell me to do that. It was the light. It was all I knew. It was my hard wiring. That's different than, and that's why this fake entrepreneurship era is tough, because a lot of them are making a bad name for the game. They're like, entrepreneurship fucked with my mental health. It's because you fucking were trying to use it to cover up your issues. Therapy should have been what you were doing, not entrepreneurship. Yeah, and it's that, I've never said that before, and I appreciate your reaction. Like, that's actually the truth. People thought the money could cover it up. The money accelerates it. Money exposes you. It doesn't change you.
Yeah.
So what would I say? I would say what I've been saying my whole life. Even my first book, coming out the gate, my message, even you said it earlier, like, it was crush it. Cash in on your passion. Everybody who's listening right now, think about the thing you would do 24/7 if you really could. What is your play? What is your downtime? What is your leisure? What's your favorite? Golf? Cooking? Music? Skiing? Travel? Like, if you can spend your 20s trying to make a career in that, you will win. If you go and try to be practical and be an accountant because your dad said so, or you think it's cool and be an entrepreneur when deep down you know you don't have the stomach for it, you will lose. And so I think the reason that people are struggling is that they're not in their right path.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to talk shit without going to the 3rd level.
Yeah.
Gary, but you don't get it. I'm not spending enough time with my boyfriend. I'm like, maybe you don't like your boyfriend. Because I promise you, if you were obsessed with your boyfriend and your business, you'll make the time.
Yeah.
Actions over words. We become very wordy. We're really fucking wordy.
Yeah.
And this is not just Gen Z or millennials. Like, boomers are wordy as fuck on Facebook. Humans have become incredibly wordy because there's somewhere to put your words.
Yeah.
Social media has allowed us to talk. And most people talk straight bullshit. And so, Gary, you don't get it. Like, I miss my kids. I'm like, go see your kids.
Yeah.
People are not accountable. People like to posture for optics, but have a different reality. So, because if you actually mean it, you would do it.
Yeah. Yeah, be honest about it, be honest about your priorities.
Yeah, I think people just are getting really good at like looking for pity.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna struggle to cry for someone who is actively fully in control as an entrepreneur, who's crying about it. And now someone's gonna be listening and say, but I have a job and I'm stuck. No, you're not. You could sell your home. You could pay rent at a smaller apartment. You could sell your car and take public transportation. Many people did for many generations. We've just gotten so entitled and are looking for easy. Do you know how many people complain about money and buy Starbucks? Number 1, strategy. So let's talk about this. The way you set it up, I'll give you the actual answer. Hey, Sally or Johnny, you've gotten to $100,000 as a side hustle. We're halfway home. By the way, I'll make this even more exciting. If somebody's made $11,000, I'll take it down.
Let's go there.
I'm gonna go there. So you're telling me you made $11,000 either in ads from YouTube or you sold a t-shirt, or you've done 2 brand deals. And wait a minute, you're telling me you're doing that with 1 or 2 hours a night because you got a family and you need some rest and you actually work 9 to 5 to begin with and there's a commute. And you've been able to make $11,000 with just an hour or so. Like that means you already have the propensity and the knowledge that this could easily be $200,000 if you just amortize out the hours, right? Or $400,000. So first, it's just the strategy of realizing it can happen because most people don't think it can happen for them.
What do you mean amortize the hours?
Well, if you make $11,000 and you only spend an hour a day on it, and that means you're putting 5 hours a week because on the weekends your kids have 3 different sports and this, that, the other thing. Well, if you're spending 5 hours on it a week to make $11,000, what happens if you spend 60 hours on it?
Okay.
Right? So if you amortize out the average amount of money you make per hour, what happens is once you give up the job and you go full time on it, and of course we have to talk about savings and be able to afford to make the leap. There's things to talk through here. But the first place I go to the person you just talked about, is making them realize that there's a high percentage chance that if they've already made 11,000, not 0, for everyone who's listening who's saying, I'm gonna, I don't wanna hear your I'm gonna. I'm only talking to the people that have done and have made over $10,000 as a 1 hour side hustle a day. Now, if you tell me, no, Gary, I actually put 29 hours into 10,000, then I'm like, okay, let's take a step back. You're not as good as that other person, right? Because it's just math. But what I want them to know is they can. They need to know they can. What
are 3 things, this person right now, what are the 3 things that you're saying? Listen, buy the book. After the book, here are the 3 things I need you to do or try.
Well, look, real talk. And you know this, ladies, if they buy the book, all the answers to my question are in the book, and I don't mean that as a book plug. Like, go to Pirate Bay and steal it. I don't give a shit.
Jojo, buy the book. It is very actionable. It is very actionable. It is a homework book.
Here's what you two know, because you guys are deeper. Like, this is even deeper. Like, Jazz, this is really fun. Like, you may know, you probably agree with me on this. This shit's deeper than 4Ds.
Oh yeah.
Like, this $28 fucking.
Right.
So what do I think? The answer is very simple. I believe whoever makes the most amount of meaningful content in the world wins. Whether that's YouTube, me, Alex Earl, Charlie D'Amelio, Logan Paul, like I don't know, like it's not complicated. Whoever is best at social media, creative, organically, not paying ads. In that scenario, the dog walking person needs to make as much content as she or he can about dog walking. Now there's ways to do that. Someone's like, well, where everyone gets stuck is what do I make?
All the time, Gary. It's the number one question.
Well, just green screen alone. I can literally right now Google, I'm gonna do it actually. I can Google dog walking. I'm gonna do this on the spot. Like we're doing a moose boosh. We might as well do it. Dog walking. All right, when I type in dog walking, now I'm gonna go to a very important place on Google. News.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh,
Great.
I see what he's doing. I know what he's doing.
First result. Kim Kardashian used to be Madonna's dog walker. Right? Literally, yes. Here it is, okay?
I recently saw that. I did see that online, yes.
Well, if you're a dog walker, I'm screen shooting this, like I just did, and I'm making a green screen that says, hey everybody, see what dog walking can do for you? You can eventually, and the fact that you responded that way, that all of a sudden becomes a video that might get 80,000 views on TikTok from someone who's never made a video or has historically sucked at it. They did a green screen, there was no production value. I can do my own green screens. When I started doing them on my team chat, I'm like, all of you are in trouble, I might not need any of you. I might just green screen my way. But here's why it's important. When that gets 80,000 views, because my profile on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok is perfectly done. My bio's right, my link is there, my phone number's there, my email's there. You're gonna get 7 customers from it. And on, okay. and on, and on, and on. There's nothing more important than organic social media.
Okay, I agree, but using your book, because I write notes in my books, and my friends, when I share my books, they write notes back to me, but I had written more relevant to a variety of demographics is what results in sales. So content isn't enough. Content that scales a brand revenue is the goal, but you had said that relevancy is the stuff that is going to get the results that you want. That was the key thing that I took away as the biggest takeaway. It's not just content, it's relevant content. So using that Kim Kardashian and Madonna, it would be, wow, you can talk about dog walking and get attention from somebody who would never be paying attention to you, because if you could hashtag Kardashian or Madonna,
that's right.
So I just wanted to make sure that we're connecting the dots.
Let me give you another one. I'm just gonna keep flowing. Now as a dog walker, you make a video that's titled, "Why Dog Walking is the Perfect First Job for Your 14-year-old." And then the video is, "Hey parents, do you have a child that you're ready to get a job for, but they're kind of pushing back because they're cliche Gen Z? Let's talk about dog walking." Now, why that's important, when you put that into the algorithms, that's gonna reach parents. So now you do Kim Kardashian, now you do the 14-year-old mom thing, now you do something else about best practices for dog walking, now you do something that's titled, "Why German Shepherds Are Perfect for Dog Walkers," and you do all this stuff. You put it all organic. To your point, it's hitting the world. But the first 4 videos, including the Madonna, Kim Kardashian one, only get 40 views because you just started. But the 7th one that says why every poodle owner should not get a dog walker in the first 6 months, it's titled that way. And you talk about it. When that one gets 8,000, now you're like, wait a minute, this video's better than the other ones. Then you take that video, you slightly tweak it, you take the original video, and at the end you add another part of the video, and if you need a dog walker, hey Des Moines, if you need a dog walker, I'm available, link in bio, here's my email. You then run an ad in a 10-mile radius or all of Des Moines. You spend $90 on Facebook, Instagram. 90. You see how it does. You get 4 emails because of that. You're like, holy shit, this is remarkable. You can then spend 200 more, 400 more. So that's why you have to go organic, because you can then turn it into performance and sales after you see if there's interest in the general video, and you make it localized, whether you're a barber or a hairdresser or a landscaper or a flower shop or a liquor store or a bowling alley. You got it? You go general, you let the algorithm confirm there's something there. Once you do that, you make it slightly, you tweak it slightly to be localized and a little more selly, because you're selling, and then you run low amounts of media, specifically on Meta, because Facebook and Instagram perform better right now than TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and then you could scale it from there, and we go into that, but that's the fucking game. Social media for the first decade plus was very simple. It was like email marketing. You would get as many people to follow you as possible, and then you would post, and a percentage of those people would see it. Mm-hmm. That was the game. And that was easy for me to figure out, because I did email marketing in 97, 98, 99 when that was like new, and I was a big winner in that game. That was underpriced attention. Mm-hmm. I was competing against liquor stores that were making catalogs, but I was getting to the customer for free instead of how much a catalog cost, and getting to them faster. It was huge. It was foundational. Mm-hmm. So I saw the same thing in social. So I amassed big followings. That was the focus. TikTokification of social media, like I talk about in the book. That interest graph algorithm is now gonna eat up everything because it's better. It keeps you on the platform longer. Mm-hmm. Let's use common sense. You go to your Facebook, you're now 27, you went on Facebook at 18, the people you followed are people you met like one night hooking up or at a random party or whatever, and now you're seeing posts of them in Ohio with their aunt, and you're like, I don't give a fuck. But just like email, we don't unsubscribe from our fucking list. We just delete it or archive it, or like we don't put in the work to clean up our shit. So you kept seeing shit you didn't give a fuck about, which made you not spend 4 hours on it. It made you spend 14 minutes on your feed. Yep. Then you go to TikTok and you're seeing unlimited shit that you fuck with. And 4 hours later, you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
That's good for TikTok. That was bad for Facebook. Now all of them are gonna be like TikTok, and every social network is gonna have the For You page DNA in them for quite a while now. Mm-hmm. Maybe forever, because it's more humanly true. Mm-hmm. That's what I focus on, and that's why focus on your niche is about to fuck up everyone. You're gonna need to talk about more things than ever that are true to you, because you're gonna need that content to find more different audiences for you to be as big as you want to be.
I was gonna ask you, does that mean riches are in the niches now because of the interest graph? But to your point, if you've got multiple topics.
It's an and game. Think about how weird I am. The reason I know everybody from afar, especially in the game you're in, are like, what? Like, garage sale videos. Then I mean, my grid has been fucked up for 12 years. Everyone's like, make a good grid. It's gotta be on brand. I'm like, you fucking have no idea what you're talking about. The grid is like 5% of the consumption. The feed is the whole game. So you go to my fucking thing, you're like, who is this? Jets video, garage sale, keynote, board meeting, V-Friends, what the fuck is that? Like people are like, what book? Like I'm confusing the shit out of people because I don't care about the grid. I care about being as relevant to as many different people as humanly possible.
So it's really just about posting one post and that could go viral to different people
I'm
rather
so
than...
glad you just said that. I was about to jump in earlier. Another thing. Let's talk about viral.
Sure.
I'm gonna use baseball. I know it's not as popular anymore, but it's the easiest one. Going viral is hitting a grand slam. Mm-hmm. Do you know anything about baseball?
A little. I know enough.
Enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what a strikeout is?
Yes.
Good. Most posts are a strikeout.
Okay.
Right? Doesn't do what you wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I'm in the business of singles and doubles and triples with the occasional home run and grand slam, but could give a shit about hitting a grand slam. Or if you don't follow baseball, everyone, I won't use an analogy. I don't ever think about going viral. Ever. I only think about making good content that is valuable to the people on the other side. And that means that most of my stuff will consistently do solid, occasionally do better than solid, and once in a while go viral. I believe that most people suck at social media because they try to go viral on every post. And when they don't, they cry to mommy. Posting as much as you can is also based on self-awareness of like, I start with like, do I have something to say that could bring someone value? Again, I need everybody to hear this. That comes in all shapes and sizes. I mean this. If you're funny and you do a skit like King Batch, that's value. You made somebody smile. And it's a fucked up world out there and the feeds are fucking negative and media's negative and like that little ha ha ha. If you're attractive, like people like looking at attractive people. If you know something about LinkedIn, that's valuable to the people that want LinkedIn. Like we all have value. If you know something about BMX or wine or sneaker, like value, value, value. I think people have niched themselves in a corner. What happens if you know a lot about sneakers and you know a lot about bourbon? Post both, but I don't want to the algorithm. And then people are super insecure. They almost never post because they don't think it's going to do well, as if that means anything.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you normally get 5,000 views on your video, and this one got 49. What is, okay.
Yeah, who
like,
cares?
What is the matter with this? At first, if they're meant to be big, the ones we all know, there's so much attention there, but there's less content creators. And so anybody that's posting is gonna get more of the percentage of the attention. As it becomes normalized, it gets harder to go viral or get as many people to see it. And then at some point, it becomes really challenging. Kind of like the thing everyone's dealing with on Instagram right now. Because so much attention got deviated to TikTok. Not that anybody on TikTok is only on TikTok and not on Instagram. Obviously, the very young may be that way, but most people are on both. It's just that pre-TikTok, it was 4 hours on Instagram for that person instead of 2, because 2 is now on TikTok. The problem is, at the same time that went down from an attention standpoint, the amount of content that's being posted on Instagram is through the roof.
Yeah.
So yesterday, more content on Instagram than any day prior in Instagram's history, yet the attention is now fragmented between YouTube Shorts, TikTok, by the way, streaming services, by the way, Twitch, by the way. Like, and so what ends up happening is there's only 24 hours a day, there's only so much attention, but there's more and more supply of content. So you have to know how to day trade it, like a stock, somebody who day trades stocks, you're buying in nanoseconds. Whether it is the actual social media platform, buying ads on the platform, the influencers on the platform to do deals with, or anything else in between. And across all these platforms, from LinkedIn to Pinterest to Snapchat to YouTube Shorts to Facebook to Reels to Instagram, and then the units inside. Do you post carousel? Do you post a video? Do you do a reel? Do you do a long form picture? Do you do a lot of copy? Do you do no copy? Do you do emoji? What time do you post? Like, this is fucking science.
Yep.
And like talent, like if you're remarkably beautiful, that will probably work. If you're remarkably funny, that'll probably work. But for the most people, like being good at it is the point of this book. I really like, this is the most textbook that I've ever written. Like I'm going there.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm very proud of how well I've played all of the instruments. And I just want to try to help people get better at it.
Yeah.
Because it is the game. you know how there's like good A&Rs in music? Like, how'd you know Lady Gaga was gonna be big? Whoever discovered her, like he or she was just had a knack for it. Usually that knack is because you know how people are gonna feel. So I have a very good feeling of what the general public likes and doesn't like. But also I put in the work. Back to what we were talking about earlier. When I jumped on YouTube in February of 2006 and went all in, I spent most of the summer of 2005 reading TechCrunch every blog post, and they would write about the new startups. If I hadn't put in that work, I would have clicked on like the articles that led me there. If I didn't work 15 hours a day building winelibrary.com, sitting next to Eric Kastner, my developer, who probably was the one that said, read this TechCrunch article, because 3 years earlier I asked him, can I put wine videos on the website? How much would that cost? And after he told me like $1 billion to host them, because it was old back then, he was like, you're probably gonna like this because it's free. I'm like, it's free? You know, and so, I'm good at human psychology. I'll give you a real interesting one that you might find interesting since you're such a young buck. But back in 2007, when I was yelling about Twitter, almost everyone would say to me, this is so stupid. Who cares that you're walking the dog? Who cares if you're eating pizza? And my answer was everyone. And people were like brain fucked with that. They're like, what do you mean? Now that must seem mundane to all you youngsters. Like everybody shares everything about everything. Yeah. Back then, nobody shared anything about anything. So, you know, I think human psychology helps me, right? Like, why did I understand Musical.ly? Because I understood that it was putting in front of, when it was only 14-year-old girls, it was still putting in content in front of them based on content they liked, not based on following someone. I saw that in Tumblr when I was an early investor in Tumblr, and I knew why Tumblr was winning. It wasn't the social graph people, it was the interest graph. What are you into? Yeah. And I always thought that was more powerful because like Dustin and I could have been best friends in junior high, but then by high school, if our interests changed, right? We all lived through junior high and high school and college and post-life. We all saw, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 people stay forever. A lot of times it's just because they've been there for so long and you just got war stories together. It's not even like you are into the same shit anymore. But the natural human flight is you do change friends based on interest, times in life, things, right? And so that made more sense to me. So it's the skill of human psychology. It's the putting in the work. Like I wake up in the morning and I look at the app store. And then I play with things. If I think Reclip is interesting, I download and play with it. And right now, the only ones that are playing with Reclip are Gen Alpha. It's like me and the 9-year-olds, you know, like, and so like I put in the work, I stay curious, I watch, and then there's always moments where there's a tipping point. And I've been pretty good. Dustin's filming me in the back. For all the people that really follow me, obviously D-Rock is doing his own thing and I always have different people filming. Dustin's now really been locked in with me for a little while and he's been here 5, 6. So he's now seen a cycle and here's what I mean where I'm about to go next if we're getting very marketing nerdy. He was here when Be Real was starting to get hot. He was in the meetings filming me when I was like, I think it's a feature. Like now it's not him reading about it. Now it's not the kids, everyone who's listening right now on podcasts, like me talking about it. No, he lived it. So he can see that like there is a skill set to being good at it, not just throwing against the wall and see what sticks. And so, you know, I'm excited about this skill. I focus on it very heavily. For example, the cliche question people ask me all the time is like, okay, so what's next? I'm like, I don't know. But the second I see it, I go all in, I taste it. And whether that was Vine, where it did mean something, but then it sold quickly, or it was Social Cam, or Vero, or all these other things. That Peach was a big one for a week back in 2014. Like, I'm very focused on paying attention, putting in the work, saying maybe. You know what fucks everyone up? What? I say no. TikTok, no. And I always say maybe. With a hope to yes. I say maybe with a hope to yes in a world of people that say no.